All right. So we're about to start the project, and the first step of the project is I already taught you guys about the type of research, how to conduct research, how to empathize with users and everything. So the next part of the main start point of the project is this very particular phase whereby you will recruit interview participants, and that's the first step you will be taking in this very particular project. So in recruiting interview participants, as you start to think about conducting interview for use X research, you might be wondering, how can I find and recruit people who want to be interviewed? Well, we are going to guide you through your whole recruiting process in this very particular lecture. So the first part of recruiting participants is your, let me say, conducting interview is you determining the interview goals. You want to ensure that the interviews you conduct are worthwhile, both for you and for the participants. To make the most of your time together, you need to determine clear goals for the interview. As a UX designer, what do you want to learn from the interviews? Are there certain user problem or pain points that you need to empathize with? So basically, determining your goals is like your primary aim whenever you want to conduct an interview. For example, let me say you have an idea and then you don't really know how to use the idea to create a product for users. Then you conduct interviews about the idea. Your goal will actually revolve around that very particular idea. Okay, this idea, I want to conduct interview so that I want to conduct interview so that I'll be able to know what users really want and how to actually use this very particular idea to create a product that will be tackling their problem or that will meet users' requirements. So here are some example of common research goals when it comes to empathizing with users. I want to understand the process and emotion that people experience around the problem my product is trying to solve. Yeah, you try and like understand the process and the kind of emotions people normally feel. For example, maybe the kind of frustration or the kind of stuff that actually come in place whenever people are trying to interpret or interact with whenever people are trying to like maybe interact with a product of similar stuff, or maybe they are having their very particular problem that you are trying to solve. So you have to understand their emotions. The second part is you want to identify common users behavior and experience with tasks that my product is trying to address. So what I mean by behavior is actually like, okay, in what form of situations are users interacting with the product? How are they behaving? Are user interacting with your idea? How are they behaving when they are trying to interact with your idea, or how will they behave? So you have to really understand. You have to learn a lot about. Let me say, you have to learn a lot. You need to learn a lot when it comes to like creating goals, and you really need to learn a lot about the kind of users you really want to like recruit, and that's what will actually make your interview process and your whole interview participant process to be a success. So the last part is I want to understand users need and frustration as they relate to the product I'm designing. So like I said, if you are doing something for someone, then you should make sure that the stuff you are doing is actually solving the problem. For example, people will definitely encounter frustration. Maybe they are trying to go to search for their profile and they are interacting with your application, they can't even get to their profile page. A whole lot of stuff like that. So interacting with your product, you have to understand the user's frustrations, and you have to understand how users are relating to your product and how to reduce their frustration, or let me say eliminate their frustration. So use a screener to select a representative sample of study participants. So what I mean by representative sample is, for example, maybe you are creating a dry cleaning applications and you really want to screen certain set of people. Left to you, you just be like, okay, well, let me just interview all my friends. And the probability that like 90% of your friends have the same school of thought or have the same way of thinking, and they have the same form of lifestyle, because you attract who you are as a normal human being. So you will be narrowing down your targeted audience, or let me say your interview participants. You'll be narrowing them down to a very small range of people, very small demographic of people. So that's the reason why you really need to diverse, and you really need to know how to like create a screener to select the representative. And when you are selecting representative, make sure that all form of the users for your product are being represented or duly represented. So the participants you select for your research study should be based on your research goals and the target users of your product you are designing. The best way to check if the po ten tial participant meet the study desired The best way to check the po ten tial participants meet the studies desired characteristics and represent a diverse set of background is by sending a screener survey. A screener survey is a detailed list of questions that help researchers determine if po ten tial participants meet the requirements of the research studies. So the screener is just for you to like, okay, you want diverse set of people, and you want a situation whereby all form of users that you are trying to design a product for is being represented. So that's why you need to create a screener survey. And the screening participant also requires collecting demographics, which are the characteristics of group of individuals. Demographics that you might ask about in a screener survey include their age, their geographical location, job title or industry, gender, and it is very important to make sure that you represent all form of users when you are trying to conduct your interview. Okay, so find research participants. At this point, you determine the goal of the interview. Like I already told you guys how to determine the goals of the interview and how to write it down. But after determining the goal of the interview, then you have to like find your participants. Written written interview questions and created a screener survey to find the representative sample of study participants. You are ready to start recruiting participants. So how do you get started? So you need to find your personal you need to find your research participant and make sure that you tailor them down to as very small as possible, and make sure that though they are actually small, they must be representing all form of your users. So this is where to find your these are examples of where to find your research participant, your personal network. So definitely you have a friend, you have designers around you have everybody around you. Then you can look through them and search through them. Okay, is this person part of my targeted audience, or the interview goal does it actually correlate with this person's lifestyle or that kind of stuff. So you really need to like you can check your personal network, and you can also check an existing user base. So an existing user base is maybe for example you are trying to create a social media app like Instagram. Instagram already have many users already. Then you can actually select people from set of people that uses Instagram. So and you can also go online, message people, hey, I would like to talk to you about so so so. You can find alternative online, and you definitely meet people online that are ready to like have an interview with you. And you have always testing. So always testing is when you are trying to like okay, let me say you actually walk up to people all by yourself, maybe on the road, in a social gathering, airport, or anywhere very maybe in the garden, in or at an hangout. You can just meet them and ask them in person and conduct your interviews with them just within a very short period of time. And you have third party recruiting agencies. There are some people specialty are like answering your interview questions. So you can actually recruit them and you pay them. So those are like various form of how you can actually find interview participants. You can also find the family members find everywhere. But when it comes to so much bond, when you are trying to interview a user, so if you have so much bond with the person you are interviewing and like there is the bond will definitely like alter the kind of response they will be giving you. For example, let me say you are trying to interview users about how fine they are finding like how easy they are finding it to interact with your mobile application, and then you are interviewing your wife and your wife love you like mad. She just be like, it's fine, it's fine. Normally a normal user will say, this is actually I'm actually encountering this, so it's frustrating and that kind of stuff. Or your wife actually loves you, she don't want to break your heart. Like it's fine, and that will actually alter the kind of normal response you should get. So it's like very advisable not to interview someone of close emotional relationship. Or you can also interview them on a ground whereby you both know that okay you will be speaking just the truth and the truth only and how they feel, and they will be able to like express themselves easily without constructing any form of bond in between you guys. So you should reach out to your participants. When you are trying to reach out to your participants, you send them a message. I will share you a link or how to write a message, let me say email. Or normally in Nigeria don't really need something like that. It's abroad that normally do everything with fancy. Just call them, or maybe you have schedule a meeting with them. You can also write them an email. Okay, hello, so trying to conduct interview about something, and I would like your response, and I would like to like interview you within just maybe 15 minutes or 10 minutes of your time. I will need 15 to 10 minutes of your time, and I will appreciate if your response can be quick. So just message people that you really want to interview that actually fit into your or into your demographic or your targeted audience. So when you are writing interview questions, keep the goal of the interview in mind. You can write the questions that we ask real people during interviews. So when you are trying to ask a question, there are some things that you really need to like consider. So the more aligned the interview questions are with your goal, the more useful the data you obtain will be. So whenever you are writing out questions that you want to ask people for your project, for this very particular project you are doing, make sure that the goal of the project, maybe you are creating a social media app, make sure that the goal of the project aligns with the kind of questions you will be asking. So and there are a few best practices to keep in mind when writing interview questions. Number one is ask open-ended questions. See, there's one thing about open-ended questions. Let me say in Nigerian dating, let me use Nigerian dating as an example. When you meet a girl for the first time, maybe she gave you an contact and that's it. So when you message the girl after giving your contact, maybe you chat her up and then you ask, hello, she answer, hi, how are you doing? I'm fine. How are you doing? I'm good. How is this? I'm in. So all those like straightforward, those are close-ended questions. So for example, now I will ask a question like, okay, can you walk me through how your weekend went? And she'll be like, okay, I woke up very late and I was having a headache. So I tried to take a cool shower. I did this, I did that. And whenever you're asking an open-ended question, open-ended question, there is always be a space, like in 90 something percent cases, there's always be a space for you to ask or for you to ask a follow-up question. So this is what I mean by follow-up question. So maybe when she said, okay, I later entered the bathroom and when I was not really feeling okay, I went back to sleep again and I was actually watching a movie. Then you be like, what movie were you watching? That's a follow-up question. And asking what movie were you watching, she'll be like, is this Godfather movie? And the movie was really great, can you come? And then you can also ask, you can also ask another question. What do you think Mike was doing in that very particular movie? Do you think he's very stupid? And that's how you guys will keep on having a very close heart to heart conversation based on the fact that you ask an open-ended question instead of you asking, how was your night? Fine. You understand? So when you're asking questions, you should keep the question short and simple. That's why being short, it can be an open-ended question. And stop asking the questions that we always end with a yes or no answer. Ask the question that we always that we always make users to express how they feel, or they should try and explain themselves more. That's how you empathize with users, and that's how you get the quality data asking follow-up question, like I said, you should ask a follow-up question like, okay, why do you wake up very late? That kind of stuff. After telling you she woke up early, why do you wake up I was doing something overnight, I'm having bugs and the like. So you can also ask, okay, tell me more about the kind of about how you normally cook your spag that you said you cook in the morning. That kind of stuff. So a whole lot of follow-up question will definitely come in, but you should make sure that you ask an open-ended question first. Research is an essential part of the UX design process and empathizing with users. So these are very like critical stage, and that's when you can get as many like a very good question that a very good data as possible when it comes to research. So taking time to outline the goals of your research and recruit a representative sample of participants will help ensure the feedback you obtain is valuable. So if you take your time to ask like good questions and get like awesome data, then your research is valuable. Good luck. So conducting user interview. As a UX designer, you always focus on the user and the experience they will have with the product you are designing. So that's your focus. You should make sure that okay, the experience these people, what these people will encounter on this very particular app I'm designing for them should be what I should focus on and how they will interact with it. You are trying to solve their problem, and the solution you are providing, you should actually learn how they will actually interact with the solution. So in this course, we learn about the first phase of design process, empathizing with user, with a critical, with which is critical when it comes to creating a great user experience. In order to empathize with users and understand their pain points, you need to conduct interviews with real people who might use the product you are designing, and not even who might use your product, who are the targeted audience for your product you are designing. So the first step is to prepare the interview. So maybe you are conducting it in person, online, or the road or anything. Make sure that you are well prepared for the interview. So if you are not actually prepared for the interview, don't go into it because that might actually get a very wrong result. You want to make the most of your limited time together and learn as much as you can about their unique perspective. Here are few things you can do to prepare for interviews. Number one is collect supplies. Maybe you invited the participants over, then you should make sure you collect supplies, buy food, buy everything to make them feel at home and get so that you can get quality information from them. So number two is what to research the users. Take time to learn what can about the people you will interview. For example, maybe you are just interviewing someone, you don't know anything about their cultural background or belief or something that may alter your interview process. So you should try and learn something about them too, so that you can know how to approach them with questions. If the user you are trying to interview provide their personal information before the interview, be sure to take note of it. The next step is meet the participant. So you already plan it, okay, we are having interview, we are doing this in the office or maybe online or on Zoom or on the other way. So the first stuff that you have to do is when you meet the participants, you want to give them a what? The first impression. So don't make them feel awkward. Give them a feel at home look, a feel at home. Maybe you are meeting in person or you are talking to them. Don't create some kind of segregation, like so much segregation, and the person will feel low, we have low self-esteem interacting with you. That will definitely alter the kind of report they will give you or the kind of data you get from them. And then you should build your rapport. Talk to them. Stop being stop being bossy. Just talk to them as friends, regardless of their age, and make them feel at home. Tell them to call you names, call you anything. Just be yourself, like be very friendly with them, but not too friendly. The reason why I say not too friendly is because if you are too friendly, it will definitely alter the kind of how they feel like, this person seems like a nice guy. Don't let me tell him no. Let me tell him yes to some kind of questions, which may alter, but just keep a very good rapport with them and thank users for calling after interviewing them, or let me say before interviewing them. Thank you for calling. Okay, these are small goodies that we can carry along. I like you. Or let me say for their time, you buy them cook and FC, or buy them parfaits, or you buy them pie, or you carry them to chicken. No, don't do that. So just do a whole lot of stuff to them, for them, and make sure that okay, you actually have value make sure you gather like all the necessary details about them, about their interactions. Moving on to the next one is conduct the interview. Yes, make sure when you are conducting the interview, make sure that you emphasize with users and talk to them comfortably. Let them be able to like show them how they actually feel, the kind of frustration. Read their body language, read the way they interact, read the way their body movement, the way they move and all the kind of frustrations and pain, what they think, what they say, a whole lot of stuff. Sharp study everything. So follow interview etiquette. Shey etiquette is on, I can't really remember again. So what I mean by that is you speaking in a clear and conscious manner while asking questions and remain professional no matter how users answer a question. Don't, because they answer something with a very rude voice or something, don't change your tone because of that. Okay, I need it by there. No, no, don't do that. So just be friendly, just be as friendly as possible and talk to them and be professional. Show that you are actively listening while users share their perspective. Not that they will be talking to you and you be doing something else. So make sure that you're actually listening when they are actually talking to you. And for example, the kind of stuff you can be doing is be nodding, making appropriate eye contact, or writing notes so that they know that okay, this person is actually following you. And like I said, ask open-ended questions. Make sure you ask as many open-ended questions. For example, of asking open-ended question, do you like do you like going to the library? And instead of you asking, do you like going to the library, that will answer you yes or no. So ask them something like, why do you like or dislike going to the library? They can't answer you yes, they can't answer you no. They be like, and one day one guy didn't give me my book. And let me see, some guys stole my book, or maybe the noise is too much, that kind of stuff. They won't give you a yes or no answer. And if they tell you the noise is too much, you can actually ask them a follow-up question like, okay, why do you think the noise is too much? They tell you the place is always clumsy, people coming from so place, we do this, we do that, and those are not actually user friendly. So that's how you keep on asking a follow-up question from users. So you should take notes. So taking notes is the like, or if person tell you a story from the beginning to the end, you can only remember the most, let me say, exciting or the most non-exciting part of the story. The let me say the part of the story, the user's interview that actually either breaks your heart or excites you the most, because human being tends to remember what what actually leave some kind of memory in our brain more than something that doesn't, that's just a normal route. Maybe for example, you are going to school, when you are going to secondary school, just keep on going every day, going every day, going every day. If I bet you that the days you remember are either the days the principal flog all of you, or the days your class won the secondary school cup, or the days like it's either the most exciting days or the most critical days, or the most days, the days that things actually happen to you. So you can't really remember everything the user tell you on the interview. That's the reason why it's very good to like take notes, write something down, keep on writing, and also you can record. You can record the interview. And recording the interview will also even help you to figure out the user's tone. Let me say the interviewer, the person you are interviewing to, the way they speak, how frustrated they are. So interview tends to happen quickly without taking notes. You can't say exactly what participant expects can be nearly impossible. Like I said, you can nearly you can even forget, even you can even have bias, like recency bias. Recency bias is you remembering what you were heard last. But maybe when someone tell you that I want to eat rice, I want to eat rice, I want to eat choco and I want to eat parfait, you will best remember I want to eat parfait more than the first four that the person actually mentioned. Or you best remember the first person mentioned more than the last four. So these are things that normally come into place, and you should highlight compelling quotes. When someone actually expresses his or her emotions to you, make sure that you highlight it, you note it down. Okay, okay, this very particular stuff is one of something that the person actually do. Maybe someone tell you what he or she actually does. Then you should write it down. That thing is compelling. Or you maybe how they feel, their frustrations, their experience, something they are actually spitting out of the what of the softer part of their art. Make sure that you keep on writing it down, and that's very important. And consider recording interviews. Make sure that you record interviews. I can even prefer recording, because despite the fact that you are taking notes down, you can also take notes down again if you actually record the interview. So that's it. And the end of the interview, after you've asked all the interview questions, give users a chance to share their final thoughts about any any items discussed during the interview. Ask them, okay, how do you feel about this interview? And the person can even you can even get a very good point from them. Maybe you are interviewing them about or a an e-commerce, or let me say creating a logistic website that will help them move own their own from, like, let me say people that are parking from one place to another, that will help them move their own something from one place to another. And you interview the users. So if you're asking final thought and the person be like, if you can actually do this will be great, because I and the person can actually share something that will actually really help help your work find is like creating some kind of solutions to and thinking about what actually should actually be done. Like maybe the person said, okay, and if this logistic website can actually be done, you should just make it in such a way that once I order, the driver will someone will come and survey the whole product or the whole goods we want to transport, so that we can know the kind of vehicle you will send, that kind of stuff. And they've actually created the solutions to your problem. You are just interviewing them, but the fact that you actually ask them for the final thought, they were able to say something. So some participants might open up about their opinion and review insight that they didn't share earlier. Like I said, they may not even share this very particular idea earlier. So they may open up at that very particular critical point. So also remember to thank participants. Thank them very well. It's their time. You might be paying them for it, but it's still their time and their honesty. Make sure you are thank them very well and appreciate them, because next time you may want to carry up a post-launch research or a follow-up research, and you will still be needing their help. And when you interact with them this very particular time, will actually shows how they will be able to like render help in the next time. So creating interview transcripts. So before we continue with creating interview transcripts, is there any question, guys? Hello.
No, no question.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Question here. My question here.
Okay. What question is that?
When you talk about conduct the interview, you
Huh?
talk about follow etiquette. When you talk about conducting the interview, you talk about follow simple etiquette. So we should speak
Following what?
the manner, then ask open-ended question.
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
what's the third? What was the third point you gave?
Follow up question. Top point was follow up question.
Okay, thank you.
Do you get it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Ask follow up questions. This is it.
I have question.
Okay. What's that?
Like so, if you wanted to do an interview, like how many people do we need? Like sample size
Okay.
to get accurate this thing.
Once you interview like let's say five is okay, but
Okay.
make sure that those five are representing all your form of targeted audience. Maybe you are trying to create a product that Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa will use, and within the social range, and people that are doing so type of job. You understand? It's already there.
What if, okay,
Can you see their gender, job title, geographical location, age, their culture, trying to play their part when you are trying to select people. So once you interview five, five is actually okay for you to get more than enough information. Like very okay.
okay, now my question, another question is that what if the age size, age bracket of probably the particular app that we wanted to design is within, it falls within the age of 40 to 60, like how will I explain it? Like it doesn't fall to the range of young guys,
Okay.
just like saying like this lotto stuff. eh, you know, most people, most young guys, they play sporting bets. Now, talking about lotto or all these things, they are not really familiar with that. And if you want to do research, you have to do it based on um, people that are actually into that category. Now, to see,
Okay, so your project topic is lottery bet, right? Lottery app.
yes,
So lottery app is not lotto. You can actually create a lottery app that normal people. Lottery is just like you getting a certain number, and I'm even telling you your project. Or you go and do research. Shey you hear me? Like lottery is not something, is not any form of range of people, but the way you're actually picturing it, you are picturing it like Nigerian lotto, this golden lotto. No, it's not this golden lotto. Lottery app, you're actually doing it that very golden lotto. Oh God, this guy.
okay,
Oh, can you hear me?
yes,
So what is it called? This lottery app, like the lottery app, you just have to create a lottery app. Can you hear me? You have to create a lottery app whereby people can actually pick tickets, pick number, and then they will check the raffle draw online too. And whoever wins the lottery. Just do your research along the lottery app. So the age, you are the one that will determine, okay, these are the set of people I'm designing the app for. You can be designing for old people or young people. That's your own to figure out. And make sure that when you are, that's one of the reason why I said when you are trying to create your research goal, when you are trying to create your research goal, make sure that it actually aligns with the when you are trying to recruit participants, it actually aligns with the research goal, the set of people you are creating your products for, and your targeted audience. So just make sure that you set everything up. You are the one that will determine everything by yourself. The people you want to interview and the likes. You can interview both old or small, or let me say old alone or young alone. So it's your choice to make. Is it clear?
yes, yes,
Okay, so create interview transcript. It's time to organize the information you collected during the interview. So, and when you are trying to draft out interview questions, I will still show you some examples. Let me show you. Uh, let's finish first. Before I show you. So creating interview transcript. You have to organize the results gotten from your interview. You have to organize everything together. So the interview transcript can come in handy when you need to quickly or easily scan interview content to look for key quotes or feedback from research participants. To create interview transcript, you need recordings of the interviews you conducted, a way to play back the recordings, and either pencil and paper or a Word document to type. So the first step is, for each interview, create a new document or grab a blank piece of paper. Write the participant name, at the top of the page. Create a brief introduction about the participants. Include demographic information like the participant's age and job title, and context about the participant that's relevant to the product you are trying to design. So these are the process that you follow when you are creating transcript. So write in the interview questions in the order they were asked. Like maybe you've written down the set of questions you want to ask your user, and make sure you structure everything in the order they were asked. So place US researcher or interviews name in bold and in bracket before that is your name before each questions that was asked during the interview. You might not be the only one conducting the interview, so you should write the name in front of in front of in bold letter before you write down the answers of the interview, the questions and answer of the interview. Place the participant name in bold and in bracket before the answers. So you are the one asking questions and is the one answering the question, and make sure that you indicate them there. So play the recording of the interview and write the participant response to each question word for word. Be prepared to pause the recording so you have time to transcribe whatever they say if you don't remember. So create transcript for interview. Create transcript for interviews is a useful way to organize your research. Though it does take some time, having a word for word account or participant feedback make it easier to share important quotes and can help you identify themes across interviews. Your transcript will be especially useful when you start to synthesize interview data. So the reason why transcript is very useful is, let me say, when you are trying to like organize your data and trying to map it out on your empathy map, you will learn, you will see the function of the interview transcript by then. So build an empathy map for an interview. So let me show you the example of transcript. Okay, can you see my screen?
No.
Huh?
Yes,
Okay, so this is an
Mak-
interview transcript.
Makil- Makili.
Fine.
So this is the name of the participant, and this is the kind of situation. Let me say something that actually explains a little bit about the participant. So you will ask this question like the person should tell you about themselves, just normal questions, and then you write your name you as maybe US researcher Ayobami. So can you describe your current work situation and how you take care of your dogs? So can you see this question? It's not where are you working or how do you have a dog or something. It's just can you describe? So they tend to like talk more. You can see the response to the questions, and that's how you create a transcript key for your design for your design project. I will share you a link to it so that you can make a copy or you can actually follow it when you are trying to write down your interview questions and conduct your research. So to empathize with users, UX designer and researcher also conduct interviews, and that is normal thing and that is the best way to do it. So, and sometimes when you might actually be using secondary research and based on existing users data or existing interviews people that are conducted, you can use it to do your applications, but in most cases it's better to conduct it yourself so that you can actually figure out, because you are the only one who can create a research that actually ta- makes that actually aligns with your goals very well. So so but interviewing users is only the beginning of the US research process. While interviews provide a lot of insight, empathy mapping will bring you closer to identifying the real needs of users. So empathy mapping is just you structuring out your interviews answer, like you mapping it out. And the fact that you're able to map it out, oh God. Hold on guys. Hmm. Can you all still see my screen?
Yes.
So empathy map empathy map brings you closer to identify the real user's needs, like what the user really need. And remember, empathy map are easily understand or are easily understood charts that explains everything UX designer have learned about a particular type of users. Empathy maps break down each interview into digestible piece of information. So empathy maps basically breaks it down into four phases: what the user sees, what they do, what they think, and how they feel. So so creating an empathy map, as you can see, this is an empathy map. So what the user sees, what they think, what they do, or let me say does, and how they feel, and this is the user in the middle. Based on the answers they will be giving you, you have to create an empathy map, and based on what the transcript I show you, you can actually see that okay, based on the replies these markerless guys have given, you'll be able to structure out everything for yourself and by yourself on the empathy map. So you can fill out the empathy map with a handful of steps. And step one is add the user's name. Include the name of the person interviewed in your empathy map. Having a name attached to it will help if you ever need to look back at the original transcript of research, and it distinguish this map from other maps you created. So maybe you are creating empathy map for 5 users, you have to create for all the people you interview. So you not adding a name to a particular empathy map might actually cause trouble and might actually cause confusion when you are trying to structure it out. So step two is you should find out what the user says. Use verbatim quotes from the interview. In other words, write down exactly what the user said. Don't summarize it in your own words. Write it down yourself. If you summarize the quote, you might accidentally interpret the user's meaning incorrectly. So it also helpful it's also helpful to try to capture things in the interview that relate to the product you are researching. For example, if the user restates the same problem several times during the interview, then it's probably a major pain point. You know what I mean? Major pain point. When something is pain point, something that is actually a point that is actually paining you, then it can definitely fall under what under users' frustrations on your applications, but those are what they actually say. So you have to write it down and know what exactly users are actually saying, and write and take note. Don't summarize for them. Don't jump into conclusion for them. So step three is what the user think in thick square. Here you can summarize the thought expressed by the user. So this is what the users think o. Like for example, maybe let's give an example where you are trying to create a laundry app, and what the users normally think? They think okay, I really need to find how I will be how I will be doing my laundry because I really don't have time. That's what they actually think. And if they keep on emphasizing on okay, I really need to find where how I'm going to be doing my laundry, I really need to find how I'm going to be doing my laundry, then that actually turns into a pain point. Shey you understand? So next one is what the users actually do. Okay, they are already thinking about it, they say it, okay, I want to find kini, and they keep on thinking okay, how do I find solutions to this my laundry? And what they actually do, okay, they normally go to laundry house, move from so so place to another, and they move from so so place to another to go and find laundry so that they can actually get their laundry done. Though that's what they actually does. And what the next step is getting what they actually feel. What they actually feel is that this thing is stressful, looking for where to find laundry businesses is actually stressful. If I can actually find something, or let me say someone that can be coming to my house to come and carry all my laundry to go and do them for me and bring it back home, this will be a very good idea. So that's how they feel. And this is example based on the transcript gotten. The guy said, I'm not sure how I would know
who is safe to allow in my home or who is good with dogs. That is, the person is actually looking for a dog walker. He also said, I love to find a dog walker that I could pre-screen, that kind of stuff. And let's check what he thinks. I want to book a recurring dog online. He's thinking, okay, if I could do this, if I could do that, that's what he's actually thinking. And we would like to pre-screen dog walker, we would like to find dog walker in advance, that kind of stuff. And what they actually really do, they work on a full-time job, and our dog is the first things that actually like really come to our mind in the morning, and they don't really have time. And how they feel guilty not being able to walk their dog because their dog is always at home. So, and that will definitely help you to tailor out your empathy map. So if you want to learn more about an empathy map, I will also share a link to a Nelson Nomad group. This Yeah, this very particular link. If you read the article very well, you know how to really create your empathy map, and you really need to get it right on this very particular beginning. So let's move to the next one. So yeah, I think that's all for today's class. So tomorrow we'll be moving um to creating user personas. So user personas can actually be drawn out. I will show you an example of user personas. We already have it on this slide. So this is example of user personas that I carried out. You can see. I interviewed this very particular lady called Jane. So she gave me her goals, frustrations, a quote, their demograph, like education, hometown, that kind of stuff, and their summary. So this is how a user persona should look like, and I can also share you links for how to, you can go online, you definitely see how to do user personas, and that will really help you a lot in creating your user personas. Sorry, is there any question? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So is there any question? No question. So you guys already know how to recruit interview participants and how to write interview questions, right? So the next thing is to go and draft out your interview questions, and make sure that I've already shared the link to this drive now, to this slide. Duplicate it and start filling it up, and don't miss out any process. So let me check from the beginning. You write the topic and your name. Next one is project overview, how you write about the product and the duration you will be taking, and just write out for in the next 2 months. Just write out 2.5 months, or let me say 2 months. You should be able to complete the project by then, and then you should add a picture of yourself there. Also, the project interview, the problem and the goals. Like we all said today, you should have a goal and you should have a problem you are trying to solve. So next one, which is your role, which is the UI UX designer and researcher, and your responsibilities, what you will be doing throughout the whole project. So in this phase, you will be doing the user research, user personas, problem statement and user journey. And this is for the research summary. You have to write a research summary and the pain points gotten from the research you'll be carrying out. So but before you carry out the research, make sure that you fill in slide 1 to slide 6 on the project case study. So write down your topic, and I will share a form for you guys to fill in the I will share a form for you guys to fill in the link to that very particular case study, as I will be monitoring it. So I think that's all about today's class. Tomorrow
Well,
we deal with user personas. So after dealing with user personas, you guys have the week to conduct your research and interview. Then we move forward from there. So sorry, any question?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
And in
It's,
saying,
yeah,
hello,
Yeah, I can hear you.
now for instance, you are given a topic you don't know anything about it.
I can't hear you. Can you speak
For
like that?
instance, hello,
Yeah.
for instance, you are given a topic you don't know anything about. What do you do?
You don't know anything about what?
For instance, you're given a topic you don't know anything about.
So, okay, you don't really need to know anything about. That's one thing about UX designer. Someone can't just come to you that okay, not all your clients will give you a topic for a project that you know anything about. Your job is to conduct research and know something about it.
No problem.
yes, that was about the question I wanted to ask. Now, talking about the problem statement in that profile,
Uh,
you need to, like, talking about the problem statement. You are filling your data there. I think you need to first conduct some research so that you can have the problem statement. Or is this something that you can just formulate beforehand before you do your interview?
the reason what I mean by problem statement is actually okay, the problem you are trying to solve, the problem on ground. You have an idea, I already give you a topic. So what's the, let me say a banking application like this now. The problem statement should be uh, I'm trying to banking internet banking has been having a lot of issues that really need to be addressed, like issues like transaction and stuff that I will be tackling through my research and create a mobile application that will meet users requirement and solve all their transactions issue and help them manage their banking, let me say help them manage their banking life effectively, that kind of stuff. You understand? Shey you understand?
I don't really get that.
Okay. Problem statement can be derived, basically problem statement can be derived from your topic. Do you understand? Like you derive it from your topic. Maybe I gave you something for mobile application, like banking application. Then you should know that if the problem is people who are unable to have effective banking. Then you want to create a application that will actually solve the problem people might be having. You don't really know about the problem now, but you just want to solve it, banking issues with your banking application. Then you can now go and research on the kind of problem people are encountering with their banking applications.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Any other question? So if no other question,